All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and me. Of course, super sad news from the world of classic rock, Southern rock, just rock in general, as the world loses Gary Rossington, who was a founding member of Lynyrd Skynyrd and a pretty amazing guitarist, especially back in the day. Uh, Gary was an innovator. He had his own sound. He had his own distinct style. He looked great on stage with all those other guys from the original Skynyrd. Um, 71 years old. Cause of death is not known at this moment. However, you're looking at a guy who survived a car crash, a plane crash, and multiple surgeries, and probably had as many lives as David Crosby had, except he didn't live as long as Dave. But in any event, what can you say? I mean, when you hear the name Gary Rossington, it also brings up the Rossington Collins Band, which is another great sort of focus tested out of existence rock band that was big in the early 80s and got a little bit of traction there during the time when Skynyrd was not around. But of course, they all got back together again with Johnny Van Zant on lead vocals. And Gary had been performing off and on for a number of years. I think he had a procedure back in 2021. People were pretty worried at that point. I mean, there have been several times where you thought that it was kind of all done for Gary. He had a lot of heart trouble. And again, to climb out of that wreckage, the plane crash and the car crash, I think he crashed his Gran Torino into a tree prior to the plane going down. So this guy, over the years, just is one of the real street survivors, let's just be honest. And I think he said about the band a while ago that it isn't a tragedy, it's just life with all the people who've passed on from Skynyrd. I know this band will continue. I know they're supposed to wrap things up soon. I'm really hoping they do. I'm really hoping. And I've said this for a few years. I love this band, but I loved the original incarnation of this band pre-plane crash. Let's just say it that way. Artemis Pyle is still out there. He played drums for Skynyrd for a number of years, and he put out a documentary which I think is really informative, and it talks about a lot of stuff that hasn't been talked about really when it comes to Lynyrd Skynyrd. But yeah, if you're wondering, I've always been a huge Skynyrd fan, but I really don't think this current band, especially with their newer recordings, does any justice to that former band who was something very special, something unique with R&B and soul music and southern fried rock and harder edge stuff. And I mean, just a legendary classic rock band and one of the finest American rock bands ever in their heyday. And Gary Rossington was piloting that ship on guitar and will definitely be missed. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Rossington family and all the fans and people associated with Lynyrd Skynyrd who have been listening to this band for a very long time, for like 50 years now. But again, folks, the original band, you really can't hold a candle to that, and that's my opinion. Gary Rossington, a pioneer in the world of rock and roll. All right, not much else to say. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.